So we're on the round 6 heat number 2. It's FPVSlacker, FpvDrift, MrGeekFPV, and FPV making their way back from the starting blocks, working their way up to the flight line to get their 6th round race underway. So you can see the skies behind the flight line there. Cobalt blue with some clouds, real high clouds, just kind of hanging up out there. It turned into just a perfect day for racing for us out here in the great state of Alaska. FPVSlacker out there getting his quad placed, and FpvDrift, Mr. Geek, both making their way out as well. So we are on to round 6, heat number 2. All the quads have been placed. The pilots are all back at the flight line now. And we're making some final adjustments. I don't have no video for, Buckley has no video.
Need a spotter.
I don't have.
How about that?
Yes. Good, good.
Okay, blue. Farther right.
Light blue, dark blue?
Yeah, light blue.
Light blue.
Like navy blue.
Alright, I got SWAT.
Oh, you got small. What color are yours, West or blue?
Blue.
Dark.
So we're collecting some spotters here, and as soon as we're all happy with that, the scoring computer is going to take over the show here.
Let's race.
And there is the tone. And again, contact at the gate. One does end up in the ground, and shortly thereafter, another.
Is it? You guys got to restart.
That's Mr. Geek and Smock.
No. Okay.
And we'll false start that one. So lots of action today at the starting line. Maybe the blocks are close and there's a funny angle to the gate, but we're getting all sorts of contact today going towards that starting line. So we're going to go out there and reposition our quads, and we're going to try that one again. So it's another reset of another round. It's round 6, heat 2. We're going to try this one again as well. The quads have been repositioned. And I'm thinking with these things, the good thing about the battery life is there should be plenty of it just for a short start like that. Shouldn't have affected the battery life too much, but that is always something to think about. You've expended a little bit of juice. We've got racers, we've got spotters, and we're now up to the race computer to get things started. Tone sounds, we got 4 quads now safely into the air and through the first couple of gates, so no carnage this time. As of yet, I should say. And there's your first casualty back into the air, though. Still trying to figure out who's who until we get through the first gate. It's Mr. Geek first, 29,170, followed by FPV. FpvDrift, I think, is who made the contact. He's now on the ground, but now back into the air. So far, 4 quads still flying in this one. 2 with 1 lap and 2 still waiting to finish their first lap. Mr. Geek now on to his 3rd lap. This will put him on a 5-lap pace, followed by FPV. Just off that pace, he's at only about 1 second sprung on that one, but that's the difference between a 5-lap and a 4-lap race. Slacker now through the gate, and Drift right behind him. So FpvDrift and Slacker duking it out there on the 2nd lap, where it's Mr. Geek and Smock out here on their 4th lap. Mr. Geek gets on to the 4th lap now, I think it is. He's 3 laps in. Still on a pace for 5 with 16 seconds left in this race. It'll have to be a hard push to get back onto that 5th lap there. Smock is out of the race right now. I didn't see where he went down. And that's race time there. The lap we're on is the lap we'll finish with.
FPV in first, MrGeekFPV done.
So Mr. Geek finishes with 4 laps. He gets the 10 points. He keeps that lead alive. So it's back to Slacker and Drift out on the race right now.
FPVDrift done.
So FpvDrift finishes it up.
Come on, Mark.
And FPVSlacker now, the lone survivor on the track, as he makes his way over the hurdle and through the line there. That is it. So round 6, heat number 2 in the books. So the results, round 6, heat number 2, it's Mr. Geek FPV picking up those important 10 points to keep himself outside of striking distance here in round number 6. FpvDrift and FpVSlacker duke it out there at the end. In the end, it's FpvDrift prevailing by 21 seconds, I should say, on that one. So moving up to the race day standings, there's Mr. Geek. Solidly in first place right now. AK Sumner's already raced in this one. So FPV Maverick coming up next, and Hazard FPV. So FPV Maverick can keep the pressure on with a 10-point win there. He'll be within 2 points of Mr. Geek. Otherwise, he's got a sizable lead there.